Hi, welcome to the first episode of the Teacher versus Student podcast. I'm very excited about this. Now, today here in this classroom, we have a live studio audience.
Welcome all students.
Yes.
So this is the inaugural Teacher versus Student podcast. I am your co-host, Mr. Waddell, followed by...
Myself, Caden Peterson.
We have several students from my 8th grade Earth Science class, and this is going to be a series of pointless conversations where I, in turn, pick Caden Peterson's brain.
It's impossible.
Okay, so, Caden, do you have any topics that you would like to introduce with? Otherwise, I've got a whole list of things that I would like to talk about.
No, I think you can go first.
Okay, so the fun fact of the day on my board was written by the fantastic Anastasia. The fun fact is, dolphins give each other names. Now, when Caden read that, he said something like...
So, I remembered, I was watching this one movie, and it was like, hey, we're not as smart as dolphins. I'm like, wait, nah, fam, we go to school. What's up? No, they live in the ocean. Not true. And apparently, we only access 10% of our brains. They access like 12 or 15. And I'm like, your words are full of lies.
Now, there's one thing that I wanted to say about that. And what I think people take away when they hear that humans only use 8%, we only use 10% of our brains, they have this idea that there's 90% of our brain that we've never accessed. That is untapped raw potential energy. What people mean when they say we only access 10% of our brain is that at any given time, any of our tasks that we're doing only require 10% of our functioning processing power. So it's not that there's 90% of our brain power that we've never ever accessed, and maybe if we accessed it we would have telekinesis and be able to read minds. It just means that we're not doing a task that requires more than 10% of our processing power.
Now, I'm going to hold you up right there. One of the greatest movies I've ever watched, Lucy. It's this movie that came out like a few years ago, maybe 1 year, maybe 2. I don't know. I don't care. It's a good movie. But it's about this lady, and she goes to Asia on a business trip, yada, yada, yada. She discovers drug plans. She gets,
What?
she goes to this business meeting.
Discovers them? Like,
No. She goes
under
to
the
this...
seat of her plane? Like, drug plans.
No. She goes to this business meeting. She's like... when she's in the lobby, this guy's coming, he's like, hey, I got your coffee. She's like, that's not the kind I ordered. Go get me another one. He gets shot in the face. And then she's like, oh no, ah! And then she starts running through the building, and then big, like, Asian dudes get her, and then she's in this meeting, she's like, tied down the chair, she's like, nah, let me go, and there are other people in the room, and it's like this part, and this one dude comes out of the closet with like 5 other dudes, and I don't get like how, it's like a small closet, like an airplane bathroom size closet, and they're all dressed in suits, and he's like, you discovered my drug plans. And she's like, wait, I just told him to get coffee. How's that drug plans? No, wait, it gets better. This is the beginning. So then, she like gets kidnapped and then they
How does this have to do with dolphins?
No, wait, it gets better.
I'm not saying it's bad, it needs to get better. I'm saying,
right.
What does this have to do with dolphins?
I feel like the name of Pointless Conversations is actually holding up too.
Spot on. No, it's getting there. It's in the movie. So then they cut her up. They cut her stomach up, and they like put drugs in her, like the
one with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. And then Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it's like this blue super drug, and then they put him in there, and then she like gets beat up, and the drugs release, and then she accesses she gradually accesses more of her brain, and then she can speak like languages and turn her hands into turkey fingers.
Why would you want that?
No, there was one part where she's like, I can
In
do
which
all...
situation was like, curse these human fingers, turkey fingers. Now that's something that I can use.
No. So it's this one part, and she's discussing to like her boyfriend, not boyfriend. She's like, hey, they beat me up with drugs inside of me.
Beat up with drugs.
No.
Flipping pills at each other. Not the drugs.
No. Ah! But so it's this funny part, and she's like, now I can do all this stuff. She like turns her hand like this decrepit, like deformed turkey hand, and I'm like, oh no! And then she's like, I can do that now. And she's like, she's looking at the guy with like the smuggest face I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But back to the topic. She's she's like on this drug transport. This is spoiler for the movie. All this happens, swear to God. So she's on this drug transport, and then they're like, "We need the drugs inside of you. You're just this lady." Like, I don't get this. There's so many ways to transport drugs. They decide to do it with a human. Like, hey, we're gonna capture you, make you go through airport security, get those drugs over to like America. We're gonna get those drugs out of you and then kill you, which I don't get. So like it happens, but then she gets like intercepted or whatever. She's holding the cell, and this dude's like all up in her face. He's like, hey, you're hot, you know, but she's not into it. No, it's not inappropriate, swear. And then she's like, she like he beats her up a bunch, and then that's when the drugs are released, and she goes crazy, and she's like, ah, and then she gets these super mind powers, and then she learns like karate in a second. It's funny. And then he comes back in the room. He's like, "Hey, you ready?" And she's like, "Yeah, come at me." And he's like all up in her face. And then she like breaks his legs with like a single arm. With one move, she breaks both his legs. She like flies him up in the air, and then she like starts beating him in the cage. She's like, and there was a metal chain to her. That's why she couldn't leave. She's like, oh, I'm just gonna break this metal chain.
Did you realize as you were talking, this vein right here is about to pop out?
I have never seen someone so much into the movie Lucy.
No, it's so good. So then she's like, all right, I'm getting out of here. Later, she develops more powers. Morgan Freeman gets in the section. I'm like, greatest movie of all time. It's got Morgan Freeman. So, she's like, Morgan Freeman's like, he's the guy who says like, humans can only access 10% of their brain.
Okay, yeah.
And then he's like, dolphins are more intelligent. She uses telekinesis.
Which is interesting because he was in a movie to do with dolphins. He was a dolphin trainer. What was that movie called?
Dolphin trainer? Dolphin
Tail?
Dolphin tail.
Yeah.
Dolphin tail.
Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that
Maybe
right
they
after
occur in the
this movie.
same universe.
All right, but anyway, so like she calls him on the TV. She becomes a TV, and then she's like, I need to speak with you. And then he's like, but you're in the phone too. She's like controlling the lights and a fan and the phone. And
So your hypothesis is that humans will eventually be able to manipulate technology in such a way as Lucy.
No, I'm saying with the use of drugs, humans become superhumans.
Okay.
No, but like, so he's like, how are you calling me? You're a TV, but you're in the phone too. And then her face on the screen, she's like, I must speak with you. And then he's like, okay, where at? And she's like, in this building. Bring your men. There are
Why
people
can't
coming.
they just talk if she's already talking to him on the phone, TV?
Because
Why?
then the movie would be like an hour shorter.
Oh.
So then they go to this place, and she's like, we got to capture all those guys, get those drugs, but the drugs are keeping her alive. They messed her body up. There's this part where she's turning into goop, so she has to reach in her body and get more drugs and eat the drugs. Yeah,
Okay.
and she's turning into goop. She's like, ah! And then she eats the drugs, and she's getting like, she's like, oh, I'm not dying anymore. And I'm like, bro, you just ate a drug, baby. No. And then, but she's in an airplane. All this happening. She's like, and her friend's like,
All of this is happening in an airplane?
no, the drug part where she falls apart and
okay.
turns into goo. Her friend's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah. She's like dying, and she's trying to act casual. And then, oh wow, look at that! I reached off the marks.
Yeah.
I am
Very loud.
I am so good. Woo! You're back. Hello. We're talking about a movie, and
It doesn't have
stuff.
to do with drugs.
No, it does.
Okay, I didn't
Unfortunately.
think it did.
So then they meet, and Morgan Freeman has like a bunch of
Or
these
is it
dudes.
still Lucy?
Yeah. Oh, you know Lucy. Oh wait, that's right. You were here for the first part. Okay, so
She was
Morgan
gone for like a
Freeman.
good 5 minutes.
He's like got a suit, and he's got all these guys, and he's like rolling up with these big guns, and I'm like, wait, when did Morgan Freeman become a gangster?
So he's the bad guy?
No, he's a good guy.
Oh,
He
okay.
just has like rebel guys, and they're like showing up with guns, and then the Asian dudes, they're like in the building, they're like, all right, let's get those other guys so you can eat the drugs.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like she has to eat the drugs to survive. And so she's like, she's in the building, and they're in the doc's office, and they're like, and the doc's like, cutting the dudes up, and they're like, and the drugs are being like taken out of them, but they're like dying and stuff. And then all these drugs, I think it's a very crude stereotype that all Asians know karate. Because in the movie, here's what happened: she like gets all those people free, and then out of all the things in the world, they use karate to try and stop her. But this is when she's like access 50% and she's like superhuman. She could do like the Spider-Man thing. She could be like, ha! And then like they'd be like suspended in there. They'd be like, ah!
Yeah.
But, so like in there, and they finally notice that she's there. And the guy's like, get her, and like 10 dudes take out like ninja stars and guns. They start running, they're like, ha! And then she's like, nah, fam. She starts like using telekinesis to like throw them up in the ceiling. And the guy's like trying to get her, and he's like, ah! His like face is pressed up against the building, and he can't do anything. And like she stops a ninja star. It's like from Zoolander when he pulls Magnum and then he stops the ninja star right in front of his face and drops to the ground. Except hers was like more than like 20 feet away. Oh, I thought there was a mustard packet.
It is.
Gotta have that mustard.
So
No, just wait. It gets even better. And then Morgan Freeman's like, we must get these drugs to our base. And then so like. She's like going crazy. She's 90% of her brain. She turns into God. She goes back in time to meet the first human. No, wait. She becomes a building. She turns into a building, and she's like, I am this building now. And she's killing all the Asians inside of it. And then Morgan Freeman's like, you need to access the computer chip. And she's like, I know all, I am God. She turns into this universe like capsule thing. And then on a single USB drive with the universe on it, this one she's accessed 100% of her brain. And he's like, and then Morgan Freeman's like, something about the first human. And he's like, did you know we all came off one person? And then she's like, I did not know that, but she's God. So I mean, like, how? She's too smart. She's smarter than Morgan Freeman. Unheard of. There's a rumor that every time Morgan Freeman explains something, he gets a new freckle. I actually really like that rumor.
Like a tree getting its rings.
Yeah. Yeah. With every story he explains, a new freckle appears on his face.
Oh.
So then he's like, we all came off this one person, and he's like, her name was Lucy, and I'm like, Morgan Freeman, you're like okay, so like Morgan Freeman, so even though Morgan Freeman's like in explaining God himself, I'm like, how would you know the first human's name was Lucy? So she travels back in time. There's a dinosaur. She's like staring down a dinosaur, and I'm like, no, don't do that. You're gonna get eaten. And then she like time travels away right as it tries to eat her, and she goes back to the first human. It's like this really hairy person. So I'm gonna say petite. It's like this, and it's like 4 feet tall. It's walking around like this. And it's this lady. She's like, she's right next to a river, and the way she drinks, she goes like this. Starts to smack. She just starts like smacking. She starts like smacking the water against her face, and I'm like, that's not how you drink. Take a slurpee. And I'm trying to take it seriously. I'm like, this is a really important part in human history, and I'm like, trying to hold it in for the whole movie theater, and like,
and then how you drink, take slurps.
But then she she sees the monkey, and the monkey sees her, and she's like, they both touch their hands out, and I'm like, what is this? This isn't a concert. You don't do that. That's like a performed move. Like, if you saw the first human, I doubt they'd go, just try and reach out to you. Because she went, I know your name is Lucy. And she's like, oh! She didn't like.
So Lucy acknowledged that her name was Lucy.
No. Lucy, the lady, the god lady, met the first human whose also name was Lucy.
Right.
And she's like, your name is Lucy, my name is Lucy, we're God.
Do you know why that movie is called Lucy?
No.
So there is, in the fossil record,
Thank goodness.
one of our... Yes, I feel like I need to breathe.
No, wait, the best part's coming up. Like, one of the best parts. All right.
The movie is, I would assume, called Lucy, and I didn't put this together until just now, until you started explaining it. One of the most important transitionary fossils in the fossil record from our ancestors to us, we've discussed several times. One of them was named Lucy. I believe she was, do you know, I think she was an Australopithecus?
Sounds right.
I think the species is an Australopithecus, and she was one of the so-called missing links that was required to explain this transition. So dolphins, right?
Just wait, can I stop you right there and say something? How come everything in the past has a name that sounds like an unknown disease from another universe? Australopithecus? Whatever.
Australopithecus.
Australopithecus.
Yes.
It sounds like a few rock bands and a disease came together, and we're like, this is our new name.
I don't know. I think they all have Latin roots. Australo, I think, means southern. Like Aurora Australis means the southern lights. So I'm thinking Australo means southern, so I'm assuming found in maybe southern Africa. Pithecus, I don't know what pithecus means. Probably something to do with legs. Two legs.
I was thinking something like bipedal.
Like walking on two legs primarily, and from the south.
Oh,
or
when you said
something
two
like that.
legs, I thought you meant just legs, no arms.
No, walking along two legs.
Oh, okay.
Rather than
Okay, I
on
get it.
four
Yeah,
legs.
I get it.
Transitioning, I would like to pose a riddle to you, as well as our studio audience, and see if the famous Caden can solve. Miguel is a butcher. He has blue eyes, white skin, Jordans.
Ooh, I like this guy already.
His brother's name is Steven, and his sister's name is Sally. What does he weigh?
That's like saying that. All right. Little live studio audience. Todd.
7 pounds.
He weighs 7 pounds.
Meat.
Why do you say meat, Liam?
Because he's a butcher.
Because he is a butcher, so of course he weighs meat.
Wait,
Oh.
No.
All right.
He chops up stuff to make meat.
And then he has to weigh it in order to figure
Like-
out how much to sell it for.
I knew there was an answer, and I'm just not clever enough to figure it out. But it just sounds like one of those ridiculous math questions. Like if God had two humans, and then a third came out of the ground, who's the parents? Who were the parents?
Well, that's a valid question in and of itself. Next topic. What do you think about aliens?
Aliens.
We
I
probably have
think
another movie for this, too.
I think they exist.
I want this to be pulled from your head.
All right, my head. So I think they honestly exist. Just like the universe cannot chill. It's just way too big. Like why? In all of God's name, why would it be so big? Like maybe billions of miles, but not infinite space. Like there's got to be a limit somewhere, right?
I have a question.
Like
Okay.
yeah, Todd.
Yeah, Todd.
Did you hear this? That out of our universe, there's like 302 more universes. Like if you take our galaxy, everything around it, there's like 302 more of those. Have you heard of that?
So when you think about our sun and all the planets, that's a solar system. When you think about all of the stars you see in the night sky, every single point of light you see in the night sky, that's another solar system with planets and a star.
Oh.
When you take all of those and you clump them into one group and you zoom away far enough and you can see it standing alone, that's what's called a galaxy. If you keep zooming out even more, it turns out that there are, in the observable universe, several 100 trillion other galaxies. So yes, that is true.
Besides, I was about several trillion off.
minor details. Minor details. So you think they do exist? Now, do you think that they are amongst us?
Amongst us.
Whether or not it's they're in the government as the Illuminati controlling things, or
No,
just
no.
or just simply observing,
Well,
or not at
There
all.
are more options. But
Yeah.
the
or-
look at this. Illuminati. There's a triangle right here. Illuminati confirmed. See, no, like the Illuminati is made up of people, I think, and it is secret governments, yada yada yada. They control the world. Government means nothing. War is endless, yada yada yada. So, let me think real quick. All right, so I feel like they're out there somewhere.
Okay.
It's just like I said, the universe has no chill, and it made them so far away that it's just like we're not gonna be there, man. Like,
Okay.
but if aliens did or did not invade us, like if they did, I'd be like if they got off, just straight up shoot them. Like, not to be like unfriendly, but I'd take their spaceship. I'd travel the universe.
So
just-
no communication, instant hostility.
Hey, the phrase, it seems like a very bad phrase, I should say, but shoot first, ask questions later, it somehow seems logical. It just seems like some dude rolls up onto your planet, something you've never seen before. What if it's like a 10-foot dude with like spikes coming out of every place in his body, and he looks straight at you? No, fam. Like, I'd either run or like what I don't get is like if aliens invaded, all the movies before say, oh, they're gonna take over. We have like such a large army. Like, I don't think war would be a thing if we had to go to war with other planets. Like, I think all of our planet would join together, even North Korea maybe. So unfortunately, it seems like the only the way to end war is to create war with other planets.
So you don't think that instant fear and hostility is some kind of primitive fear response that we have surpassed? You think?
Oh,
you
it
think
is,
We're,
it
we're
is.
stuck in that fight or flight.
I feel like too many people are, and it's majority, which I don't like. Like, I feel some people have gone past that, but just a large portion of people, like, I don't get it, man. It's just like, yeah, Toddy?
If you look up, you realize that if you look to the side, we can't see other planets around us. We have to look up. So if we went to war with different countries, I think we would be toast. Because are we on top of other countries?
Well, yeah, maybe.
No,
may-
okay. So
No,
you're
Todd,
standing-
Are
Todd.
we on top of other countries?
No. So
Todd.
we're standing. I'm outside of my driveway.
Yeah.
And I'm looking down, but I just see the ground.
Yes.
So if I look up, I can see other planets.
Yes.
But if I look down, I don't see anything. So that mean, are we on the bottom and they could just shoot bombs down at us?
Planets? Other planets?
Yeah. Are there planets below us?
No,
Well, remember that you're on a globe, and so when you look down, you're actually looking towards the other side of Earth and past Earth. So, what do you
It
mean?
just
are
doesn't
we on
make
top?
sense why we can't see the outer space when we're looking to the side.
because, like, just, we're so
like the atmosphere. Like
Like we have to look
Because
up.
if we're a circle, then why can't we see? Why can we only see?
because,
Oh,
Todd,
you can. When you look at let's say when you see the moon on the horizon, you are looking to the side, and you're seeing another object in the solar system. And Mars and Venus and Jupiter and Saturn, they all rise and set just like the stars do. And so, yes, sometimes they're above us, but sometimes they're below us on the other side of Earth. And sometimes they're on the horizon, and sometimes they set. So, does that answer your question? What do you?
Yeah. I
Okay.
asked you me now.
Okay.
no, Todd.
Oh, yes, Elliot.
Oh, Elliot.
In almost every alien movie I've ever seen, when aliens attack humans, aliens always have more advanced technology.
Oh yeah.
Why is it like? How do we know that they would? Like, how do we know that we?
Would you like to start off?
I would like to.
Yes.
So, this is like a logical answer. We wouldn't know, but we're just guessing from assumption because we can't nearly explore past. We can't even go to Mars. But any aliens that could possibly visit would have to have such advanced technology to reach our planet. That's the reason we assumptionize or assume. Yes, thank you. Assume.
I have a question.
Yes, Anastasia.
Okay, so you said if aliens came out of their spaceship, you would shoot them immediately.
I'm
Okay, follow-up question. If you were walking in the woods and you saw a gray alien laying helpless in the woods, would you help it? What would you do?
all right. I'm feeling like I'm the bad guy here. I'm feeling like no, that's not what I mean. I feel like a large majority of people. I think I've never experienced it, obviously, but I honestly think personally, I wouldn't shoot first. I don't have access to guns. I wouldn't shoot first. I would attempt to communicate, but big aliens rolling up onto my planet, that gotta spark something. But if I saw a little dude in the woods and he was like, help, I wouldn't.
He's unconscious.
Oh, he's unconscious? Okay, I'd just be like, I'll take you to my basement. You live there. Don't try and eat my face when you wake up, because I don't know what they are or where they came from. But personally, I think I'd try. Well, what? No, because the cops would take them and experiment.
Flipping that around, then you're saying if there was something seemingly bigger and stronger than you, you would immediately have hostility towards it, or you're saying that that's a rational thought, and that's what's to be expected. You're saying the majority of people do that. That's what's to be expected. So if you now are a spacefarer and you can visit the nearest star and the nearest planet that you know has a more primitive species, and you step off, let's say instead of having machine guns like we do now, they have slings and stones and bow and arrow. Let's just say they also found out bow and arrow was a thing. You would understand if they immediately held hostility towards you?
No. I'm trying to explain this so I'm not the bad guy anymore, because All right. So what I'm trying to say is, I just feel like a lot of people do have that hostile feeling, but a motto I kind of go by if I'm ever in a threatening situation is like, don't do anything unless they do something first.
Okay.
That's the only way I could rationally think about something. Like, if it attacks you, they did it, not you. So I mean, you gotta defend yourself. But I wouldn't just like, hey, they're different. I don't like them. So let's say I found the aliens' bow and arrows. No, I mean, like, they have sticks and stones. Why do anything? They should, technology themselves. Advanced technology.
Okay, and with that, we will end on the deep thought that aliens should technology themselves.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in to Teacher versus Student podcast with all of us here at Rockford Middle School Center for Environmental Studies. We'll see you next time.
See you on the next episode. Woo!